Hello friends! Welcome to the third book haul video for this channel. Today I went and got some stuff while I was out, and I'm going to show it to you. Now this first thing is not something that I bought today, and it's also not a book, but take a look. It's this sort of 3D image wall hanger, very simple, probably from the late 70s, early 80s. I've had this for a while. I found it at an antique shop. And I really wanted to show it because I'm really bad. Oop, it's upside down. This is the other one. I still haven't hung them up on my wall yet, but they are pretty neat, and really the trick of hanging them is going to be figuring out exactly where to put them. But I'm showing them to you because I did find things like this today. This is some sort of goose wall hanger painted up like Frankenstein. I mean, it's strange, but I love it, and it was 50% off, so it was only like $2, which is, I just think that's a great deal, because it's sort of a harder, I guess that's ceramic, sort of. It would definitely break if I dropped it on the ground. And yeah, somebody took time to make this, and they, I guess, didn't want it anymore. And now it's going to hang somewhere in my house. Yes, she is as beautiful in person as she is on the video, clearly. And the last of the wall hangers is a pumpkin. Yes, it is a wall hanger. And I really can't tell. This looks handmade. It looks like somebody went to like a Michael's Crafts store or something and purchased this and then just cut it right down the middle and then sort of hollowed this area out and glued in a hanger and painted it over. Or it was something that was sold. It does have a mark on the bottom, but that's about it. Nothing else. But yes, it was significantly reduced in price because it is November at the time I'm recording this, so Halloween has just passed, and I don't know, I thought this was cool, and I plan to maybe try to carve a face into it, though what kind of face? Traditional or something a bit scarier? I love carving pumpkins, so I'll probably keep it for this coming year and do it in the fall of next year, but if I do that, you guys will be sure to see it. And moving on from there, we have actual books. This is a thin little paperback book from the 1970s, I believe 1979 or 76, 79 and 76, I guess. And it's just got a bunch of little games in it for kids to play. And it was sold in a pack with three others, or not three others, and also it's upside down, with five others. Two of them are duplicates. And yes, they're all basically the same. They just have little puzzles and games inside of them. And they're all from the same time period. And they were sold in a pack for like $1, which is just ridiculously affordable for what you're getting here. I usually don't buy the things that are in bags at Value Village or Goodwill, but I saw the binding on these, 39 cents, and I thought that's definitely worth a look. So, a worthwhile purchase. And I might even play around in this one since I do have two. Moving on from there, we have two little golden books. The first is this one, about fire engines. Let's check the publication on this one, because I think it is not a first edition, but it is from 1959. So originally it was published in 1950, but this copy is 1959. But I don't know. For some reason today, I guess because the books were on sale, I decided that I wanted to look through the golden books, and I don't know. I have a couple in my collection, but I might start actively looking for them because there are so many, but they probably won't be that way forever, so I think it would be smart for me to grab them while they're so cheap. This one, I believe, is also from the 1950s. So yeah, this one was originally 1945 date of publication, but this is a 1957 copy. I love little golden books. I grew up with them, and it's fun to find them when they're so old and so cheap. Another older book is this Easy Reader Wonder Book. Let's check the date of this. Let's see. I should definitely do this before I record. 1965. And this is apparently a story about a boy and his beagle. And then I guess a cat gets in there at some point. They look to be getting along, but a fun little wonder book. I love to find these. I've got a couple up on the shelf just above the frame here. Sorry you can't see them. They deserve their own video, but when I do that, this one will definitely be in there. So very reminiscent of the wall hangers I was showing you at the beginning. This is a book with a lenticular cover. I've got a couple of these. I think this might be my fourth or fifth one I found, and they all have these puppet animations in them, and they're from the 60s. This one's from 1969. And I love finding these books. They're just so simple, and yet the art style and the use of puppets and clay figures is just, I don't know, it resonates with me, and I like it. Forgive me for liking things. And it was also pretty cheap. The Gas We Pass, The Story of Farts. This is not the most mature book I've ever found, but I really just couldn't pass it up. I had a second thought about it, and then I decided to get it because the books were on sale. This is a 1994 copy of a story, I think from, let's see, since we're already looking, 1978. And yes, it's a story about farts and why we have them, and burps, I guess, and just flatulence and gas. I might do a video on this in the future. If you'd like to see that specifically, just go ahead and let me know. Otherwise, I don't know, we'll see if The Gas We Pass justifies its own separate video. It wouldn't be a book haul without some National Geographic kids books from the 70s. I did not have this one here. We have Busy Beavers, you see on there, the cover. A very busy beaver indeed. And the second one I found was Animals in Summer, which, just a very lovely looking little deer there. A little, what do they call the young ones? A fawn, I think? I don't know. Animals, I'm sure that I can find out by reading this book, but yeah, I love to find these, and I really, really gotta do a video on these at some point that I actually properly research, because there's just so many of these National Geographic Society kids books that, I don't know, I just keep finding them. I always think I've found maybe the last of them, and yet there are always more. Something a little different, Tim Burton's The Nightmare Before Christmas, piano and vocal book. I have been trying to learn the piano for about 2 years, and I'm getting to the point where I actually need some sheet music to play while I'm playing, and I think that this might be very helpful, because, I mean, who doesn't love The Nightmare Before Christmas? If you have not seen this movie, do yourself a favor. You're in the period, if you're watching this when I've released it, between Halloween and Christmas, which is the ideal time to watch this movie. Because some would argue it's a Halloween movie, but I'd say it's probably more of a Christmas movie. It's just a scary Christmas movie. But yes, it has all of the songs you'd expect, and I don't know, I'm looking forward to playing around with it. I usually don't buy these kinds of books, but it caught my eye, and here it is in my collection. Another movie book. This one's not a book of lyrics or vocals or anything like that. It's just a picture book from the Black Stallion movie, which might be based off the book Black Beauty. I'm not quite sure. But I think this is from the late 60s, early 70s. Let's take a look. It is paperback, which usually, these books are not paperback. They're usually hardcover. Scholastic Book Services, that's always nice. Let's see, 1979, so I was a little off there, but I'm not really sure when the movie came out. I've never seen it. If you have, feel free to let me know, or I can just Google search it. You know what, I'll do that. That's probably the more reasonable thing to do. Yeah, it's a nice picture book with pictures, presumably from the film. Man, I hope that little boy had a better time after this shot, because, oh, okay, well, he's walking down the beach, so I guess he's okay? I don't know. I like to buy these whenever I find them, because, I don't know, they just seem sort of rare, and especially paperbacks like this that are in good condition. You don't find them that often, and, I don't know, movie memorabilia is a limited thing, usually only gets one release, and that's when the movie came out, so fun stuff to find. I also like horses, so hey, there's that. It also wouldn't be a haul video without a Goosebumps book. Now, this was the only one I was able to find today, but it is special in that this is a Goosebumps TV episode book. I have one other of these. It's from the Revenge of the Mummy episode. I think that's what it's called. Whatever episode has the mummy in it. And that's the only one I've ever found, so I was pretty happy to see this on the shelf, because these seem to be quite rare to find. And yeah, it's got stills from the episodes. Oof, that's a bit nightmare fuel-inducing. Take a good look at that. And it's gone. Another movie book, Honey, I Shrunk the Kids, the novel, based on the upcoming movie from Walt Disney Pictures. So this came out before the movie, apparently. which is weird when they do that. I don't know why they decide to release novel versions of movies before they're properly released. That just seems kind of strange to me, but I don't know. Maybe there was a market for it back in the 90s when this movie came out. And, yeah, I know you want to see the pictures. That's the only reason we buy these. So, there's the crazy professor, doctor, bad scientist type guy. He's not bad morally. He's just not that great until he accidentally does the thing in a baseball, hits the machine, and turns the kids small. And if you haven't seen the movie, go and see it. This is the movie recommendations episode, apparently, because this and Nightmare Before Christmas. Just go and watch movies. Movies are great. Books are great, too, but so are movies. Coming in a bit late for the season is the Halloween Pumpkin Smasher, which is a book from the 1970s. And I think this is a cautionary tale about smashing pumpkins and how you really shouldn't be doing that because some witch is going to come and really mess you up for doing that. I mean, you know, people spend time making these pumpkins look pretty, and for you to be smashing them up like that just ain't that cool. But I don't know. You know, you find a lot of Halloween books leading up to Halloween, and then it seems like they just pull them from all the shelves. So finding one in November, pretty nice. Always happy to find. Another holiday book here is a pop-up book, The Night Before Christmas. I almost said Nightmare Before Christmas. That happens all the time. And yeah, I bought this because it is actually in decent shape. And I think, yep, it was published in 1981. So, yeah, this has managed to survive for almost 40 years, if my math's right. And yeah, most of the pieces seem to work. It's still a pretty clean copy, and I just think it brings me a lot of joy, and there is one page that I absolutely want to show you guys, and that is this one here, because you can make Santa Claus do a little jig with his hips, via hip swinging Santa. The only piece of this that's broken is this one here, where you let's see if I can do this. You pull Santa like that, and he pops out up at the top, which is great, except he doesn't go back down, and then you have, oh, he did it that time. It fixed itself. All right, never mind. Let's just show the last page, shall we? There's Santa flying away in a poof of smoke. It's a nicely put together pop-up book, and I'm always happy to find them when they're not completely destroyed. Moving on, I bought a small collection of these books. I didn't know that about famous people and places. Now, I recognized this style of binding from some of these sort of Where's Waldo books I have. Let me show you one real quick. This is one that I found at a Goodwill recently. And yeah, I'll just give you the small snippet. What are we going to get? Yeah, so they're sort of hidden image books, but they're also kind of funny because they've got all these captions just everywhere. Every page looks like this. And I did not realize that there were these other kinds in the same vein, and they even have some of the familiar characters. That guy, I think his name is Freddy, and he's in a book called Finding Freddy. I don't remember her name, but I'm sure that I've got a book of her. And yes, these are not as focused on the finding aspect as much as they are on the educational aspect, but they still find time to include all of these, you know, facts, not facts, but comments, rather. This one is about landmarks and things, I think, and people. And yeah, these are just great books. There's so much creativity in these pages that I think, you know, is lacking from certain styles in the present. I think these were all 1992. Let's double check that real quick. Yep, 1992. So they are first editions. So we have this one here. Then we have Strange But True Mysteries, which, you know, also probably pretty interesting. Then we have the Sports Book, which is about sports, I would assume, and how things work. Let's open this one, because this one was the first one that I saw, and it really caught my eye. I always like the kind of books about how things work. I mean, how else can you say that, really? Let's see, do they have any kind of cross-sections? Ah, here it is. This was on the cover, so I was looking for it. So you see some people inside of a giant submarine. It's not a yellow submarine, but it's there. And you see all the trash in the ocean, so there's probably a little bit to be said about that. And yeah, I don't know. These are books that I didn't know existed, and now I've got those, along with books like this one, which is another one of the ones I have, which are the Where's Waldo style. So I wish the books had color, because all of the Where's Waldo style books have color in the binding, but, you know, nice and white. It separates them from the others. So yeah, these were really cool to find. Since there are dogs barking in the background, I think it's appropriate to show off this record I found today. 101 Dalmatians. Somebody decided that they did not want their Disneyland records anymore and got rid of a couple of them. This one is from 1965, which I think is right around the time that this picture movie came out. Picture movie. Movie! Moving on. Yeah, these fun Disney records, they have books with them, and sometimes the books are in okay shape, like in this instance. Other times not so much, but yeah, they just show off the story of whatever you're reading, or not reading, but listening to, I guess. I haven't checked these. I would assume that what's being played on the record is also being played, is being played out in the book. So when you're listening to the record, you're also reading along with it, and then there are songs in between. You guys understand how this works. Another Disney record, Dumbo, of all things. I do love Dumbo. I think most people love Dumbo. I know it got a recent remake that was sort of mixed. I think it had Ewan McGregor in it, though, so he gets points just for doing that. So yes, this is 1965, and again, it's in great shape. Like, I don't know who had these records before, but they really never touched them. I mean, they're in fantastic shape for being over 50 years old at this point. And since I didn't show you the last one, I do want to show that they are indeed in great shape. So they got these little pull-out sleeves from the inside, and wait, they just, I don't know, they're in great shape, if I can get it out. Little dusty, but no scratches at all. You can see my light there. The illusion is ruined. Yeah, I don't know if it's picking up on video, but there are no scratches here. So this one and the other one that I just showed you, the 101 Dalmatians, and the one I'm about to show you, are all in great shape. And the last of the Disney records is from a story called Bedknobs Broomsticks. I talked to somebody who's older than I am, and they recognized this. It's unfamiliar to me. I don't know if this story has stood the test of time or not. But yes, again, it's one of those fold-out records with a story inside. And I'm curious about this one because it seems like it's all within this this book. But I'm sure that there's got to be a movie or some sort of small cartoon tied to it, because it was recognized by the person I was speaking with. I don't know, it looks interesting. I recognize the crown guy where there, the lion guy maybe? He reminds me of the Jungle Book. So I don't know, maybe that's where the character came from. That guy there is, he's just not having a good time. And the last of the records are 3 of these James Bond record soundtracks. This one is From Russia with Love. I have seen a couple of these movies, including this one, and I don't know, I think these are really nifty to find. Anything James Bond related is pretty neat, because it just doesn't turn up that often. So we've got this one here, then we've got this crinkly covered Thunderball soundtrack with this awesome cover. I really like this cover a lot. I might even just get this framed and put it up on the wall just because of how cool that is. Even though it's got the crinkly on it. Yes, this is the Sean Connery one, or one of the Sean Connery ones. So we've got that one, and lastly we have the Goldfinger soundtrack, which is great. I actually already had a copy of this, so I'm thinking I might try to get rid of this on my Etsy shop, which you can find the info for at wereedbooks.com. Shameless plug. I do sell some books and might even start selling records, but I do love Goldfinger. Who doesn't love Goldfinger? If you haven't seen it, again, go. Okay, so movies you gotta see this time. You gotta see The Nightmare Before Christmas, Honey, I Shrunk the Kids, and you gotta see Goldfinger. Even if it's a little dated. The music's great, the acting is very reminiscent of the time it was created, and the soundtrack especially is great with its Goldfinger. I lied. The last thing I had is this Paula Abdul single for the song Straight Up, which just happened to be there. I don't always buy singles, but when I do, it's Paula Abdul's Straight Up. Great song. Go ahead and give it a listen. If you haven't, it's gonna be stuck in your ear. And yeah, this is just a single, so kind of a bland note to end it on. But hey, go and listen to this song when you're done watching the video because it's great. Even if you've heard it 100 times, do it. Well, thank you, friends, for tuning in to this third book haul / stuff haul / record haul / whatever you want haul of all the stuff that I happened to find today and in a couple of my previous trips to the Goodwills around my area. As always, if you like this kind of thing, please give us a like, and feel free to visit us at wereedbooks.com. It goes left to right, not right to left. Also, check us out on Instagram if you want, at wereedbooks, and feel free to subscribe. Hey, that's what this is all about, right? Is content for you to enjoy. So if you enjoy it and you want to see more of this, click that subscribe button or tap it or do whatever you gotta do. I feel like an old man the more I talk, so I'm just gonna say thank you for watching, and please join me again next time when we actually read something together. Ta-ta, friends.